What's up, Undisputed listeners? It's your boy, Sharpe. I wanted to tell you about my new podcast, Club Shay, where we always do something before two something. Each week, I sit down with a guest for a drink and conversation, and as host and proprietor of Club Shay, I've welcomed in esteemed guests such as Snoop Dogg, Floyd Money Mayweather, LeVar Ball, Isaiah Thomas, just to mention a few. Whether I'm talking to an athlete, a musician, an actor, or a lifelong friend, Club Shay is a place where people share inspiring and motivational stories about their journeys to prominence. The new episode drops every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Club Shay now and make sure you never miss a new episode. Now back to Undisputed.
Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning. How are we, guys?
Good morning. Good morning. Go working overtime. Go. This double pay, Skip Bayless. This double pay. When you work overtime, you get double pay.
Are we talking about the GOAT, quote-unquote, LeBron James, who still can't figure out how to make a last-second shot? That GOAT?
Skip, the man 30 feet out, he got a double punch, double pump.
So Detroit and now Oklahoma City, and he can't make the last shot?
Well,
I know a guy that couldn't make the last shot either.
Huh.
You remember him? The so-called best player?
Oh, we're talking about that? Maybe LeBron did need overtime, but he got it done. We're going to get to that. Don't you worry. But a different GOAT, guys, has issued an apology. And I think that's where we begin the show today. Tom Brady reportedly sent a text message to Chief Safety Tyrann Mathieu after the Super Bowl, apologizing for losing his composure when they were talking trash. Brady told Honey Badger that he was trying to match his intensity and he respected him as a competitor and was a class act. So, Shannon, are you buying Tom's apology here?
This apology was as scripted as everything else in Tom Brady's life. The reason why I know it was scripted because I'm trying to figure out what you said. No one knows what you said. Only you and Honey Badger knows what you were saying. But somehow the apology got out and was read verbatim. What was said, what the apology was saying. I'm a firm believer, Skip, if you say something publicly that you should apologize for, that's the form it should be, the apology should come in. If it's something in private that you've done, you should apologize to that person in private, and only you and the person. Now, if Honey Badger wants to say, Tom, apologize, it probably explains, Skip, why the tweet was deleted. Remember, he said something, Skip, and the tweet came down? This probably explained why. All I'm saying is this, Skip, is that I believe the apology was scripted just like everything else because for me, he could have got a pass on this because you could say the emotion of the game, the intensity of the game, Skip, it's the Super Bowl. You know, emotions are high in this situation. So what was said, as long as it's not out of bounds, we know there are certain words that you can't say no matter the circumstances. Yep. So I'm not going to even put that out there that Tom would say something like that. But the mere fact that Tom apologized, I don't have a problem with him apologizing. I have a problem with it becoming public, Skip. That's where my problem is. And the reporter, it was read aloud. Now, because I know
by whom?
The reporter.
I know, but who read the text aloud?
Well, considering there's a chance that I know it didn't come from the other side.
You sure? Because I don't.
1,000%, and I put my reputation on it. Skip Bayless, let me tell you something. You know how I operate. You know I have a lot of stuff, and I don't even say anything about it. But you know when Shannon Sharpe attaches his name to something, you take it to the bank.
Okay.
It's good.
All right.
It didn't come.
Okay.
It came from his side.
Okay. From Tom Brady's side.
Yes.
So nobody in Honey Badger camp would have said, we want the world to know that he did apologize to us because he deleted the tweet because he felt like he was going into deep water. He's challenging the GOAT publicly, and then he deleted the tweet because he wasn't sure, they're going to throw me under the bus for even going back at him.
They had already thrown him under the bus. That's why he tweeted what he tweeted.
Okay.
He said
it in the tweet.
Exactly.
Throw me under the bus. So why would you delete it?
Because
why wouldn't you just stand by it?
The apology came. He apologized.
Okay, but the apology came, I think, yesterday. But the tweet got deleted right after the game.
I'm saying this. I do not believe, and I feel very comfortable in saying, Honey Badger's side didn't release this.
Okay. I just don't know. I have no idea.
Okay.
But
well, I feel comfortable in saying what I said.
All right. Now, I'm going to feel very comfortable in saying what I've said about Tom Brady for about 15 years on national TV. No one can quite figure out from a distance why he is so successful as he is at the highest level. And I keep saying, if you watch him closely enough, you see that he has a split personality when he plays football. You see he has an alter ego that I have dubbed Psycho Tom. And it comes out on the biggest stages because he is high-strung emotionally. He is over-emotional to the point that he is Jordan-esque. He is cold-blooded killer, football killer, camouflaged as this corny, nerdy dad next door off the field. And that guy's real also. But when the stakes are highest, he will exchange fire with anybody when it comes to trash talk. When the stakes are highest, he will occasionally just lose his head. It doesn't affect his play. He channels it. He fuels his play with the Psycho Tom who sees the slightest of slights as some kind of challenge to his manhood. And that game was all about him putting the quote-unquote baby goat back in his place and getting revenge on Bill Belichick. And to me, Honey Badger, for whom I think Tom Brady has nothing but respect, got caught in the crossfire of Psycho Tom and Mahomes and Psycho Tom and the aura of Bill Belichick hanging over this game.
So all that was going in his head at the time that he did that.
Yeah, he just loses. There is no head. He loses it, man. And I've seen him. He'll go off on anybody, any pass rusher. If you want to exchange fire with him, he will fire back at you, and it will not be a pretty sight. And this is why I call him the ultimate wolf in sheep's clothing, because he is a crazed competitor, just the way Jordan was when he competed. They're very similar in the way they channel their anger into their performance. But once the game ends, he suddenly sits back, and it's like he falls back into his other ego, his split personality, which is nice guy Tom off the field. And nice guy Tom, by all accounts, I've told you this 1,000 times on the show, nice guy Tom is legit 1,000% nice guy. And I believe that he sits back and says, God, what did I do? I love Honey Badger. He'd spoken nothing but glowing praise of Honey Badger. And he said, I guess this is part of this text, with Honey Badger, who plays with extreme intensity, and it's very contagious for his team. And Brady's like, I got to match that. I got to bring my team up to a boil just like that.
Tom Brady's the guy that goes to bed. And he writes down everything that he's going to say the next day. Any situation that'll possibly arise, everything is scripted.
Do you think he scripted what he said to Honey Badger?
Oh, no.
During the game, I'm just telling you, he loses his head. I get it. I got brand protection. I got the whole thing.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
I got it. It's not like Jordan-esque brand protection, because those are big brands.
But Skip, he has a brand that's. Think about it now, Skip. You're talking about a white married father of three.
Yep.
That plays the quarterback position.
Okay.
That brand is as polished and as pristine as it could possibly be.
Okay.
But my thing is that you feel very comfortable saying Tom Brady and his camp didn't put this out.
No, I don't know. I didn't say that. I said I don't have any idea.
I feel more than comfortable saying that the other side, the other camp did not put it out. I feel more than comfortable.
Okay. Well, you could be right, because I would think Tom Brady would want this out there, that he was ashamed, that he was embarrassed by his language that he used to Honey Badger. Because I believe of all the Chiefs on the other side, that's the one guy he respects the most on that defense.
But my thing is, here's the thing. Had he lost the game, would he have apologized? Because this is what we know in Super Bowls. When he loses, he doesn't shake the opposing quarterback's hand.
Okay.
So I'm just, Skip.
I have no idea. Hypothetical. I have no idea.
No, we've seen him lose 3 games and not shake the opposing quarterback's hand. That's not hypothetical. That's factual.
But that's not apologizing for something you said.
Skip, I just asked a question.
Okay.
Had he lost, would he have apologized?
I told you he's the sorest loser there ever was, because show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser.
Hold on. So he lost.
He's only won 7 out of 10.
But he has lost.
Yeah.
He has lost, and he lost 2 in between when he run the last 4. So don't say because he's the so show me a loser. Show me a good
I'll show you a loser.
Skip, he lost.
Yeah, I saw him throw for a playoff record, not a Super Bowl, a playoff record, 505 yards against the Eagles, and his coach is giving up 41 to the backup.
See, it's always
41, and you give his coach a pass.
I didn't
it's outrageous. It's the worst thing that's ever been done on this show. You're giving Belichick passes for those games.
I don't give him
pass for the first Eli Super Bowl.
Skip. Are you going to give, how much credit are you giving the Bucs defense for Sunday?
A lot of credit.
Okay.
Everybody who wins the Super Bowl. How much credit did your 2000 Ravens defense get?
They deserve the lion's share of the credit.
Thank you.
But all I'm saying, Skip, I don't have any problem with that. My problem is, I believe this was scripted. I'm not saying it wasn't the apology wasn't sincere, but I'm saying the mere fact that it got out. Why did the apology need to get out?
Well, the truth is, the more I think about it, he should have just made it public. And again, he also said in the text to
him.
He
made it public. His side leaked it.
No, I mean, you should have just put it out there. I don't know the exact script of the text, right?
Yeah.
I'd like to see it. You could have tweeted it, but obviously you wanted to first send it straight to Honey Badger. And he also made it clear, this says in the tweet, I would like to apologize to your face if we can ever rendezvous in the offseason.
You could have, right after the game, you could have went right to him and apologized. If you sincere about it. If you real with it, the Honey Badger was right across the locker room.
But this is one where you got to sleep on it. And then
what you got to sleep for?
Hits you. What did I do? What did I say?
See, what you got to do is got to be scripted. You see the thing is, Skip, when you apologize, if you do something to somebody, I didn't got to sleep on it. What I said was wrong. But, man, I come to you just like I said, if it's publicly, if you've done something publicly, I believe the apology should happen in the form that it actually happened in. What was said was private, so let's keep it private. Now, if Honey Badger want to tell what was said or say, Brady, issue me an apology, I accept his apology, we're going to keep it moving, I have the utmost respect. Boom, no problem. But the other side can't release it.
Okay. Again, I have no idea. All I know is there is such a thing as Psycho Tom because I saw Psycho Tom at the end of this game, and this was about as psycho as it ever gets because if you could hear the audio in the huddle as they're kneeling out the clock, please, could we see off the CBS telecast? He's screaming F-bombs in the huddle before kneel downs because he's out of his mind, competitive about how much this meant to him.
Yes, Skip.
Okay,
that's what happened.
You're not in your right mind at that point.
Yes, you are, because you realize the stake. We won this game. Trust me. I've been in 3 situations, 2 of them. The second Super Bowl, I got hurt, so I wasn't actually in the huddle. You're in the huddle, you doing a kneel down. You know what you said? F yeah, baby. World champs. We are the world bleeping champs. Run, tell that. All that talking. You did all that talking, Green Bay.
That is the ultimate non-committal, non-controversial quarterback who works as hard as anybody in the history of sports to say nothing except, aw shucks, gee whiz, Tom Brady off the field. That's that guy.
Yeah, but Skip, the thing is that he's got you fooled thinking that he's so unique, so different than most people. We're going to talk about a topic a little later, and I'm going to show you just how more alike Tom Brady is than not. But you choose to believe that. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the little thing that he posted on his little IG story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Okay, all right.
But Skip,
I got it.
My only thing is, look, the way I look at situations, Skip, you and I'm not going to come out here public. If something I've said, you and I, we going to handle it. If you want to say it, if you want to release it, boom, that's on you. Okay. But I'm never going to say, man, I did this. Come on, bro.
Okay.
Let that go.
Okay, now I'm going to show you what happens to Brady after the final gun goes off. I'm going to show you the Brady who turns back into that nerdy, corny dad next door in camouflage of the wolf in sheep's clothing. And if we could see what he did with Gronkowski soon after the game, I assume this is soon after the game, and he runs up to him.
Way to go, buddy. This is what we do. This is what we do. You're two tighties. Two tighties. Fall out, baby. You fall out. Way to go. You let us hear it, dog. Way to go. Yes. So proud of you.
What? Those are like two little kids.
Yes.
Right? Like they're going to have a sleepover, right?
That's what winning that game, Skip. It brings out the kids in all of us because that's what you dream of.
But two tutties? They're talking about two tutties?
Touchdowns.
I mean, I know. I got touchdowns, but I've never heard touchdowns called tutties before. Unless you're 8 years old, right? Playing your first year of Pop Warner or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, Skip, when you good friends in that game, you win that game, man, you say things and you acting like a child. You become childlike.
Okay. And to me, Brady still has some inner child in him, or he couldn't keep doing this at age 43, because you got to have some little kid in you to be able to keep jumping out of bed every morning to put yourself through all
Well,
this.
Skip, if you notice, he has that relationship with Gronk. Now, he's not talking with Mike Evans with two tutties that we did. He's not talking with him. That's just a unique relationship. It's kind of like LeBron's handshake. He got a different handshake with all 13, 14 other guys. It is unique to each guy.
It is.
That what he said to Gronk is unique to Gronk. Now, he probably said something unique to the offensive lineman, something to Lenny. You know, he called Leonard Fournette. He called him Lenny. I don't know what
playoff Lenny.
So that part, Skip. That's my only thing. Look,
okay.
I don't want people to think, well, Shannon, you being hard on. Look, Tom apologized, and maybe he felt that what he said was out of character for him, even in that moment. Because sometimes, Skip, you know, emotions get the best of you in a heightened situation. But he felt that, you know what? Let me apologize.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with the apology. I just have a problem that it got out that he apologized. If Honey Badger wants to say something, let Honey Badger say it. But don't your camp release it.
Okay. I'm with you. But again, I believe there's genuine embarrassment in Brady that he said what he said to that player. I believe he has the utmost regard for that player and vice versa, because they had said nothing but great things about each other. And I thought, I just believe in all my heart and soul that he felt like Ty Mathieu got in the crossfire of all of his emotions, and suddenly he lost his head. And obviously, they had just victimized Ty Mathieu on the 1-yard touchdown pass after Ty had been victimized on the one pass interference that I didn't think should have been called.
Right.
Okay.
Skip, I think it started when Honey Badger got that interception. And maybe Brady was like pass interference, and maybe Honey Badger like that wasn't pass interference because
it was a hold on away from the ball.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it looked like to me, Honey Badger pointed and said, don't talk to me like that again, and started jogging away. Now, I don't know what he said, but it looked like he was pointing his finger, don't say whatever you said, don't say that again. And he started jogging away. Brady like,
Went back.
went back at it.
And then once he went back, then Tyrann Mathieu comes back and wagged his finger at him. I believe that was the.
I think that was first. I think that was first.
Well, he got the flag.
Right.
And I told you yesterday they both deserved a flag. And I don't know how it's because you're the GOAT.
Right.
And you're 43, and I guess the referees are thinking that can't be Tom Brady. He's aw shucks gee whiz Tom, and he deserved an unsportsmanlike flag just like Ty Mathieu did.
Yeah. I mean, like I said. Tyrann probably believed that Brady said something that he probably shouldn't have said. And he's like, don't talk to me like that. Don't say that. And he was like, I'm done with it. Boom, I'm going on. And Tom's like, no, you're not done with it. Come back here. I got one more thing to say, bro. You think you're talking? This is the Super Bowl.
Yep.
I'm hyped just like you hyped.
Yep. I would like to know exactly what Brady said to him. And I would like to know what sparked Brady in the first place. Because Tyrann Mathieu had to say something that flipped Brady's switch also.
Right.
But whatever, heat of battle, heat of moment.
Right.
And I believe that genuinely he would like the world to know he's ashamed and sorry of his actions and his speech.
But see, the thing is, Skip, if I want to apologize to a person and personally, face to face, I'm not going to tweet that out. I'm not going to put that out in a statement.
Yep.
Just like you got that man number and text him, you can get that man, hey, bro. Let me holler at you right quick. Before you get on the bus, can we meet somewhere and we have a conversation? Boom, handle like that. Boom, done with it. The mere fact that you got to do all this. The apology was written. The lady said, the reporter. Now, she's the longtime reporter of the Bucs. Now, she's plugged in.
She does a great job. Jenna Lane. Yep.
You know how these beat writers are. Adam Schefter was like that in Denver. Ed Bouchette's like that in Pittsburgh. John McClain is like that in Houston.
True.
Skip Bayless was like that in Dallas. When you get on the team, when they start doing this ain't no accident. And that's all I'm saying. Just like you put that in there, talking about you would like to speak to him publicly, you'll say it face to face. Go ahead and put that in the text message and keep that on the hush, bro. And come see me. And we gonna talk. Hey, honest, bro, I get it. Hey, man, this is a heightened ball game. I'm emotional. You emotional. Apology accepted, bro. Good luck. Congratulations on number 7. We'll see you down the road. Boom, we done with it.
Okay. I agree with that. But Brady wants the world to know
why
that he went completely over the edge. That's what he wants to know.
But Skip, you say he didn't care. You say I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it.
Okay.
I'm going to save it.
Okay. Right. I think it's interesting. I think you both have very good points here because in a lot of ways, an apology should just be between you and whoever you're apologizing to. So it's interesting. I appreciate your words there. We are far from done discussing all things Super Bowl.
No mercy. Hey, Undisputed listeners, I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com. Reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app right now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, are just one click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. Download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com.
No mercy. Hey, Undisputed listeners, it's Charlotte Wilder here to tell you about my new podcast with Mark Titus called the People Sports Podcast. It comes out every Thursday, and Mark and I take one of the big stories of the week, and then we go off on tangents you never saw coming. This might mean that we start talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series and end up wondering if Knicks fans deserve happiness. Or begin with LeBron's greatness and end up drafting our ultimate beer league softball team made up of old athletes. Whatever it is, the only rule of the show is that it has to be fun and funny because these days we could all use as many laughs as we can get. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts and come down weird sports rabbit holes with us. We can't wait to have you.
No mercy. Patrick Mahomes failed to score a touchdown in his Super Bowl 55 loss, and it was the first time that has ever happened in a game he started during his NFL or college career. Mahomes also tossed 2 interceptions and said after the game, quote, "They beat us pretty good. The worst I think I've been beaten in a long time." Shannon, has Mahomes been overhyped here?
No, actually, he hasn't. You look at his numbers, Skip, in 3 years as a starter, he's won the Super Bowl. He's been Super Bowl MVP. He's been to 3 AFC Championship games, 2 Super Bowls, 3 Pro Bowls, all before he turned 26. And so for me, Skip, he had a bad game. He picked the wrong time to have his worst game of his professional career because that is the most watched game of the year. It's the most chronicled game of the year. There have only been 55 of those games. They played, in 3 weeks, they played 55 football games, Skip. And so and it looks bad. He didn't play well. His team didn't play well. And normally when the quarterback doesn't play well, it's hard for him to overcome, even if the team is playing well. If your quarterback is playing bad, it's hard to overcome that, Skip. Since he became a starter, he's first in passing yards, first in touchdowns, first in QBR, first in wins, and 6th in percent of throws that are intercepted. So he's still very safe with the ball, even though he's putting up these astronomical numbers. Skip, I don't think he's overhyped. He had a bad game. His resume is impeccable thus far. To say, you know what, I lost the Super Bowl and I lost to Tom Brady and I lost to a team that played maybe one of the 3 or 4 best defensive games that we've seen in a Super Bowl out of the 55 that's been played, there's no shame in that. Patrick Mahomes is not overhyped.
And I'm here to tell you he has been overhyped so far because he has not been able to back up his regular season greatness in his 2 Super Bowl games so far. It's a small body of work, but there are times I actually feel a little sorry for him because the world has wanted him to be something that he can't quite live up to on the biggest stages. And I do believe this has a lot to do with Tom Brady because there are so many Brady haters. There are so many millions of people in this country, this world, sick and tired of seeing Tom Brady on the biggest stage in the sport, that Patrick Mahomes has been the ultimate breath of fresh air. And yet, what makes him must-see TV, what makes him so spectacular, also has made him vulnerable on the biggest stages because he will try just about anything at any moment. Greenest light I've ever seen a quarterback have. And yet he's up against the ultimate brilliant textbook quarterback in Tom Brady, who is the master of precision execution, and Mahomes is the complete, utter flip side. Throw the textbook out the window and let it fly quarterback. And because he is so supremely gifted with his arm talent and his just overall athletic ability, that he can often get away with that and live up to being spectacular. But it reminds me a little bit of the Michael Vick experience in Atlanta when, as Michael will tell you when we have him on the show, it became harder and harder for him to live up to the expectations because the expectations don't always win football games at the highest level. The breakaway runs, the open field make you miss from Michael Vick. It was the greatest show on earth. It just was. I miss those days. Those were, you don't talk about must-see for me. And yet he was doing it a little more with his legs than his arm. He had a huge cannon of an arm. Not always deadly accurate, but still just spectacular to watch him air it out 80 yards in the air. And this kid has all that and underrated as a scrambler. By the game, he gets better and better to me because he's hard to get on the ground.
Skip, I would agree with you. Had he had his starting lineup intact, the offensive line is intact, not he played, I said, okay, Skip, maybe you're right. But I still don't think, even though he would have just had a worse game, in this situation, he had a bad game. It would have been exacerbated had he had his 3 starting offensive linemen and they make him look like this. Skip, but his body of work, who can say they had a body of work like this at the age of 26?
Okay. Brady can if you just do the Super Bowls because he had won 2 out of 3 in his first 3 years starting. Right? The first year and the third year. And he was the MVP of both games. One was won with a late drive where his numbers were low.
No, the second Super Bowl, Deion Branch was the MVP.
No, I got it. But he should, this is just me, because he won a shootout with Jake Delhomme. If you look at the numbers, they're big Mahomes-like numbers for the Carolina game. And it was 32-29. Okay. So all I know is small body of work. I've watched Patrick Mahomes play what I believe by his standards are subpar Super Bowls twice. Because if you look at his QBR a year ago, before his first Super Bowl, his QBR during the year was 78. Sensational. It was second in the league. He had a 64 QBR in the Super Bowl game. And remember, I keep harping on this. Nobody wants to hear it, but they're down 20-10, late third quarter. And if we quickly remind everybody of how it looked, he threw this interception down 20-10 late in the third quarter. This is against San Francisco a year ago. And that's no good, okay? So it looks like you're going to be in big trouble because we're almost to the fourth quarter. And he doesn't see Fred Warner. Okay, then we go the next possession early in the fourth quarter, and he does it again, and they're still down 20-10, and he throws this pick. It's a little high and outside to Tyreek behind him. You think he was trying to protect Tyreek from getting his block knocked off. And yet it's high and outside, tipped up into a second interception. They're still down 20-10. And we go all the way to mid-fourth quarter, and they're still down 20-10. But why are they able to stay upright? Because Jimmy G is the rival quarterback, and he's having a terrible fourth quarter. He's going 3 of 11 for a grand total of 36 yards with an interception. So you're not playing Tom Brady in the fourth quarter.
If you don't mind me asking, Skip, why is it that he threw interception and was behind going into the fourth quarter? He comes behind and wins, and he played bad. Tom Brady did the exact same thing against the Legion of Boom. They won. He did the same thing against Atlanta, was down. They won. But he played great. Why is it that Tom played great even though he was down and threw interception? One was a pick 6, but Mahomes, he just played bad the whole game.
Did Russell Wilson just come apart in the fourth quarter? No, he played great in the fourth quarter, and Tom Brady played great.
Matt Ryan came apart.
Matt Ryan came apart. I'll give you that. But Tom Brady was throwing for 246 yards just in the fourth quarter and overtime. That's like a good game for a Super Bowl in the last quarter in the overtime.
But Skip, you said, well, he want to shoot out with Jake Delhomme. You make it seem like Jake Delhomme is going to the Hall of Fame.
I didn't say that. But is Jimmy Garoppolo going to the Hall of Fame?
No, but Jimmy Garoppolo went to the Pro Bowl that year.
Okay, and yet remember, it gets to 3rd and 15 at the 35, and this is for the game. This is like sink or swim at this point because you're still down 20-10. And he's got a rusher right in his face, and to me, he gets away with one here. This is fortunate where he just wings it into the left flat, and Tyreek had to stop and come back and wait for a fair catch.
He called a play, Skip.
Okay.
He went to the sideline. Okay. NFL hands had white up and said, do we have time for Wasp?
But this is one where, with the ball hanging like that, one of the safeties can come over and pick that off. And he was lucky they didn't react quickly enough to a ball that hung up for grabs. Okay? But he got away with it. And they got away with it, and they won. It looked like going away until Jimmy G missed Emmanuel Sanders with a throw. If he makes one throw in the fourth quarter, we're having a whole different conversation because they're going to lose.
Well, Skip,
he's open. He's open. If you just hit him, he missed him by 5 yards.
Skip, we can say that about Matt Ryan. I mean, if he makes one throw, if Russell makes one throw, a lot of times these games come down to making one throw.
Okay.
And one team, one guy makes it and the other guy doesn't.
Okay. So this year, during the regular season, he even improved, Patrick Mahomes did, his QBR all the way up to 83, which again was second because Aaron Rodgers was just off the charts great this year.
Yeah.
And obviously was the runaway MVP. In the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes was lucky to have a 50 QBR because he rallied in the fourth quarter and threw for 156 yards in the fourth quarter alone and scored 0. The math doesn't compute for me. How do you throw for 156 and you don't get it in the end zone? Obviously, they're just going for broke.
Right.
So they're not going to take a field goal. They're just going to throw for
Well, the thing was, Skip, is what the problem that I said they needed to do. Once they got into the red zone, they was conceding like, okay, we're going to give you yards, but we're going to close the door in your face once you get close to the end zone. That's what they did for the entirety of the ball game. But, Skip, if you look at, look, like I said, we've seen guys, and I don't want to diminish the Super Bowl MVP, but we've seen guys that had less than outstanding careers become Super Bowl MVP. Patrick Mahomes was a regular season MVP, which means you need to play great, not for one game, Skip, not for 4 quarters, but for 16 games over the totality of a season. 50 touchdowns, 5,000 in just your first year starting. We've seen guys throw for Tom Brady did it in year 8. Peyton Manning did it in year 13, year 14. Patrick Mahomes did it in year 2.
No, I give you regular season. There's no doubt about that.
So Skip, you can't say, well, because he lost his Super Bowl, now he's overrated. You look at the guys going to 2 Super Bowls by the time he's 25. He's won 1. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. He's been an All-Pro. He won the division every year he's there. He's had 3 straight AFC Championship games at home. Skip, that has to mean something. And even as bad as he's played, he still only has 4 interceptions in his playoff career with 17 total touchdowns.
Here, I'm going to go to your favorite website, Pro Football Focus. Again, grades in the regular season for this kid are they're out of this universe is what they are. So in 2018 regular season, they give him a 93 grade for the year. That's sensational. In that AFC Championship game that he lost barely to Brady in overtime, he was a 72 grade. Okay, the next year in the Super Bowl year, he's 84 in the regular season, 64 grade in the Super Bowl. This year, 91 grade in the regular season, 66 in the Super Bowl. So you can see he hasn't lived up. Again, small body of work, but he's not playing regular season great on his big stage game.
If you look at him in the AFC Championship game in his first year that he lost in overtime, however they graded him and gave him a 60 or a 70, I don't know how.
Well, remember, he had a bad first half, and then he caught fire.
And then he scored 24 points in the fourth quarter.
He did.
And 3 touchdowns. So, Skip, like I said, look, there have been plenty of quarterbacks that have had more humiliating losses than this. Skip, you remember my quarterback, Elway. He didn't even come close. 55-10, 42-10, 35-10. I mean, he wasn't even close to winning.
And what saved him, what fell out of heaven, also via the 6th round into his lap.
You had
Terrell Davis, okay? And all of a sudden, he didn't just have a run game, he had the run game.
We had a elite run game. But, Skip, I talked about this earlier this year. I said, Skip, the thing that concerns me about Kansas City is what? I said, their running game, Skip. I said, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's too small to be an every down back. And what couldn't they do? Short yardage. That's why they signed Le'Veon. That's, once the guy they ran for, I forget his name last year, he opted out, Skip, to take care of his mother.
Damian Williams.
Skip, they can't run the football.
Darrell Williams ran pretty well this year.
But Skip, the mere fact that you had your quarterback running an option lets you know that
they ran it again in the Super Bowl.
Exactly, but you see how quick he pitched it. He didn't take no chance of threatening the edge. He's like, I'll let you go to take this out, get this out of here. But look,
what did Patrick say yesterday? We need to figure out a way to be more efficient. Bingo. because ultimately what wins at the highest level is some form of efficiency. You can't make a spectacular play every play and win the Super Bowl.
Skip, you can't throw it all those times. Because if you look, that's basically what he said. We're going to have to, we got to run the football. Andy, I thought Andy also, Skip, they're getting immense pressure with 4 guys, and you're still running scat protection. You don't think about maybe, hey, somebody going to have to stay in and to give Patrick Mahomes some extra time. But you just keep running scat. That's fine, Skip. Scat protection is fine if your offensive line can hold up.
And that was a problem. That was a problem. But by the second half, I believe, because this is the first time he'd been under this kind of fire, maybe since high school, he said, that he began to duck out too quickly. He began to feel a ghost. And, as you say, just jump out the window too quickly. Because he's more comfortable when he's sort of running for his life and looking downfield to try to just create the spectacle.
The thing was, Skip, is they did a great job. If you watch him, what they're doing to him, they're flattening him out. So they're racing him to the point where they think he's going to be. So he has to retreat and retreat and retreat even further to try to get an angle.
What happened early in the game, twice he jumped out the window and got free. And made 2 big games.
And Todd Bowles said, look here, we can't let him out.
Nope. And in fact, one time they blocked it up where Kelsey actually came back and blocked JPP so he could get free. Because he can run.
Yeah, he can. And a lot of times, Skip, he started bouncing to the outside, but he was afraid because they were getting so much push on the interior, he probably should have stepped through the window in the front as opposed to getting to the side. But give Tampa credit. They did a great job on him. He'll be back. They need to
I hope so, for his sake.
But that was a wasted pick. That cried there with a lair. I wonder if Jerry still think he should have got it.
Jerry Jones said, I saw him coming. We loved him. Really?
He's too small to be an every down back, Skip.
Okay.
Well, just so you guys know, Ian Rappaport did tweet this morning that Mahomes will undergo surgery tomorrow for that turf toe. So, as expected, he's going to have
My brother had that injury, had that surgery also.
How was it?
Yep.
It worked?
Yeah, it took him a while. He played.
But it takes a bit sometimes,
right? Well, he wasn't even practice. He would just shoot the toe up and then play. But they had to go in there and reattach that ligament in the top of the big toe.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take a couple months of rehab, but yes, he's expected to be fine next season. But it is something to consider, considering he was playing through that. Saying it wasn't bothering him, but it was an injury that Mahomes was dealing with. So just so you guys know the latest there. But I'd like to get to LeBron and try to put a smile on Shannon's face here. LeBron and the Lakers were able to sneak by the Thunder last night with a 119-112 overtime win, with Anthony Davis sitting out. LeBron finished with 28 points, 14 rebounds, and 12 assists for his 3rd triple-double of the season. It's the Lakers' 5th win in a row and 2nd straight game, going to at least 1 overtime. They just like the extra minutes lately. Shannon, how impressive was LeBron?
What I tell you, Skip?
What did you tell me?
As soon as LA opened up, what was going to happen? Miss Trip does. She can't control herself. She got to get out. She got to be seen. Another Trip dub. And this time without AD. Look, I would have really preferred him not to play an extra 5 minutes, Skip. But KCP got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. Tried to contest Alexander's shot. He leans into him, makes 3 free throws, and so we got to go to overtime. Considering that he played extra 10 minutes, I think it was Friday night. But Skip, look, no AD, no Caruso. I mean, they probably was thinking, this team is struggling. We probably go, LeBron, you get you 30 minutes, we gonna get you up out of there. And next thing you know, Skip, they're down 11 in the 4th quarter, and they can't get LeBron up out of there. And I'm sure Frank Vogel and his staff, they go into the game saying, okay, LeBron, this is what we'd like to have happen. We'd like to play you about somewhere between 15 and 17 minutes in the first half, somewhere between 15, 17 in the second half, preferably 17. We'd like to keep you around 32 minutes. And for the better part of the season, Skip, that's where they were. He was playing the fewest amount of minutes of any point in time in his career, about 32, 32-5, 32-6. And then all of a sudden, they started creeping up. And now he's almost back to where he was last year at this time, about 34 and a half minutes. But, Skip, the difference is that right now they got off to that unbelievable start last year. Remember, Skip, they were 20-3. The West is a little better this year. The Clippers are better. Although they're going through their growing pains right now. When they get PG...
Well, growing pains with no PG and no Patrick Beverly, okay?
Utah is better.
They're better. I will give you that.
Denver is up in
Denver's sort of the same.
But that yoke, he'll load though. And so for me, Skip, I just think the thing is that he wants to come out of the ball game, but it's like you're jockeying him for seeding. And seeding matters because, had the Clippers did a little better, they would have dodged the Nuggets. Maybe you get a more favorable matchup. But Skip, I'm not, look, he was spectacular last night. 8 points in the fourth quarter after they were down by 11. 7 came in the final 3, and then that cross-court 3. How many guys can make that pass? That skip. He did make it look so routine.
They named that after me, you realize.
They do skip pass. No. 28, 14, and 12. Can I put them on this, Skip?
My
MVP.
My final box must be a misprint. I'm looking here at the 3-point numbers beside LeBron's name, and it says 2 for 10.
We struggled a little bit last night.
2 for 10?
We struggled a little bit. We struggled.
I thought this is the year of the 3.
Hello. You wanted to be Steph Curry every night?
2 for 10.
We still shoot 40%.
Yeah, you're right.
And everybody give me some cases.
You've dropped a little bit.
Everybody gonna give me some cases at the end of the year? Yes, I am.
Well, did you say 40?
No, I said 38. You said 38.
I don't remember.
Yeah, you said 38. We gonna pull the tape. You gave me 38.
We have some revisionist history, but that's okay. I'm so many cases up from Tom Brady that I don't even care. If you need to get him back that way, you can get him back.
I'm gonna get him back.
All right. I thought he played very well overall last night. I give you all the numbers. Obviously, in place of AD, you got to take up that slack. And he took it up, and he took it up on the boards, which I always, he can rebound like a demon when he feels like it, because he is 6'9". What do we give him? 260-ish? Easy 260. He's obviously in great shape, and for him to get 14 rebounds is not shocking to me because he can get them every night if he applies himself to that phase of the game.
But at this juncture of his career, Skip, that's going to take too much out of him to hustle down to get those rebounds.
Okay, I got it. But he needed to last night.
Yes, he did.
And he by far was their leading rebounder. And he wasn't quite the leading rebounder in the game because Baisley had 16 for the Thunder. And by the way, Baisley won a tip with LeBron late in the game, which led to the 3 free throws.
Yeah.
I was surprised because I thought LeBron could get up over Baisley, but...
Well, first of all, no. Hey, check this out. I saw the Chicago Bulls lose a game when Gary Trent won a jump ball off Zach LaVine, the 3-time dunk champ.
Okay, maybe it's timing. Maybe it's a bad toss.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, all right, I got it.
And Kane Fitzgerald probably tossed it up anytime was he official? If Kane Fitzgerald is in the game, I want no part of that game. Who was the official, Skip?
He was there.
Yeah, okay.
He was the lead official. Okay. Now to my pet peeve about your man, LeBron James, and it just won't go away. And it plagued me on Saturday night. I forced Ernestine to watch that game against Detroit. I'm going to get to that in just a second, but let's do the game at hand, which was last night. Okay, so the Thunder aren't great. They're now 10-13. They're without George Hill for what it's worth and without Muscala for what it's worth. But they're just a bunch of kids playing as hard as they can play. So they have no choice but to put Lou Dort on LeBron James. Lou Dort is 6 feet 3 inches tall to 6'9" LeBron. Lou Dort is in his second season in the NBA at age 21, okay, out of Arizona State. Undrafted Lou Dort, who sort of came from nowhere last year. And he can defend, but it's a little hard to defend 6'9" when you're 6'3". Okay. All right, so at the end of the game, in both situations, Detroit and Oklahoma City, end of regulation, you can, which you said he's got some fine wine sitting waiting for him. Okay. If you just figure out how to end this right here, right now. Last night was a little less time because it's 1.3 seconds, but you're inbounding on your end. And to me, if you're LeBron James and you're 6'9" on 6'3", if you call for some kind of a play that will get you a lob on the edge of the paint where you can wheel on Lou Dort, you can get fouled because he has no choice but to foul you because you're just too big for him. But that's going to require that you go to the free throw line and make one of two to end the game.
You're going to make both of them.
Well, you could make both of them. And he's been a little better from the free throw line, 72% so far this year. But when you look at the rest of the league, it's still way below average from what.
Skip, Skip, he's not the shooter that KD and Kyrie and all those guys are.
Just in case people have forgotten, right now, just right here, right now, KD is making 87%, Kyrie's 94%, Harden's 88%, Kawhi is 89%, Paul George is 91%, Steph's 94%, and just for the record, the two big guys that I love both of them, but Embiid is 85% and Jokic is 85%, LeBron's 72%.
Yeah.
You can't be the GOAT or the best player on the planet if you have that kind of a flaw.
Well, Jordan was never the best free throw shooter in the league.
Okay, but he was 85.
But Larry Bird was 90.
Okay.
Mark Price was 90.6.
Okay, but 85 is way better than 72, especially if you can get to the line. Yet LeBron's attempts keep falling. He was career low attempts last year.
You saw last night they fouled a man. They fouled a man with the left-handed shot. They won't call it. You saw they fouled him.
Okay, if I'm LeBron, I'm just going to wheel on Dort with the second left, and I'm going to the rack.
They ain't going to call it.
Well, just let's see if they call it, because I think he's going to have no choice but to hack me, to hammer me, to body foul me, or just hack my arms. If I go up strong with my right hand, because he likes to go to his left, they're just going to have to foul you at the end of the game. And instead, he runs hard straight away from the basket and tries to catch and turn and shoot, and Dort's just got a full head of steam, too, and is right in his face.
That's on Trez. Trez got to set a better pick.
Right, okay.
Trez got to set a better pick, Skip. You say Trez got him. Keep it peeing, Trez.
Okay. But this is no hope. This doesn't even have a chance. He doesn't even get it to the rim.
You made him double clutch. But we've seen him hit in the playoffs 2 threes from that very spot.
Okay.
Orlando and Indiana. Okay. So we know he's capable.
Okay, but what's the lower degree of difficulty to me? It's just to get fouled and get to the free throw line.
Skip.
Go ahead and shoot something that's in the paint on him.
Skip, right now, he's the Simone Biles of gymnast.
Okay.
There is nothing that's difficult for him.
Okay, well, then you should have pulled that one off.
Skip, now you know what? Skip.
Now, let's look quickly at Saturday night. Okay, it's the same situation. The game is tied. All you need is one free throw, and there's not a double overtime, right? And so let's see what he did down. This is with 3 seconds left. He just says, okay, I love this. I like this. And then he shoots a weak sort of fall away left hand.
He's going with his left hand.
Like a baby
and Plumlee met him. Look at that. Two guys.
Like a baby hook. He shoots it over the rim.
Skip.
Okay, if you go right-handed, and you go up straight, he's 6'9". He's bigger than Plumlee is.
Jeremy Grant is 6'9". Mason Plumlee is 6'10". Skip, you not
just go right up through.
Skip.
You don't think if you go right-handed, you're not going to the free throw line? I will bet you're going to the line.
Now, see, at first you said he shouldn't have pulled up. Now he drives the ball.
Okay, I told you, I give you that. Okay. And then he shoots this weak, you know what?
Skip.
That's weak, you know what?
That's that weak, you know what? That's the left-hander that he finished Paul George with against Miami. Remember?
He lobs it up over the rim. It's like some baby running hook left-handed. He's doing everything he can not to get fouled because he doesn't want to shoot.
Well, why not just pull up? Why not just put up and shoot a mid-range if you're not trying to get fouled?
Okay. Well, if that's what you're most confident in that case, just pull up and shoot your jumper then.
No, he thought he could get to the
I love the concept of, he's going to drive it. He's actually going to go to the basket. And by the way, he's got Plumlee on him for all the game, and Plumlee can't defend LeBron James.
But here's the thing.
Because they were stuck. And by the way, we're talking about the Detroit Pistons. They're the worst team in record in the league.
Yeah.
They were without Blake Griffin, without Wayne Ellington, and obviously without Derrick Rose, because we didn't know at that point he was about to be traded to the Knicks. Okay. So down 3 of your best players, you can do better than that.
And down to 3 best players, that team still beat the Suns. They still beat the Celtics. They still beat the Sixers.
Okay, but they have the worst record in basketball.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So they're going to compete. They're going to fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I got it. But it's LeBron James.
And they're young, Skip, and they're young. Mm-hmm. So when you're young, you just got bounds of energy. Jeremy Grant can play 40-plus minutes. These guys can play 40-plus minutes. And so no lead is safe because the Lakers had a big lead Friday night. Mm-hmm. But they just keep coming. They just keep coming. Mm-hmm. And you see Goat, what he did to Horford. Oh, give me that.
Goat ends that game. Goat ended that game last night.
We did it. We did it.
Well, you're already up when he made the 2 threes in the second overtime against Plumlee.
Hold on. What about that 3 and the 4th? Mm-hmm. What did they put us within 2? Mm. And then the layup to tie it up. Then the skip pass.
I love that skip pass. Thank you for naming that after me. They blew a 17-point lead against Detroit. They're starting to mirror the Kansas City Chiefs, who went the whole back half of the year barely winning. You kept saying, are they winning? Yep, they're winning barely.
I know a team that's been blowing 17, 16-point blowing leads and losing. You know the team that's down in the basement?
Yeah.
They keep blowing leads and losing.
Really?
Losing.
Let them get full strength and let's see what happens.
We'll see. You guys say, but let me do this, let me do that. Hey, let us get full strength. Let us get healthy. We still trying to figure out. I mean, think about it. Wesley Matthews hadn't played in like 7-8 days. DNP.
He made 4 out of 5 threes last night.
Come in and be a professional.
Yep.
That's what we do. Keith Morris, he hadn't played in a while. Hey, come in, be professional.
Hey, I got to give you this. Schroeder is better than I thought. He is electric. He is completely fearless.
Yeah.
He'll try any shot at any moment and make most of them.
I was surprised because he had a streak where he made like 17, 18 in a row, and then he goes to the free throw line at the end of the game. He missed 3 or 4.
Well, speaking of missing, they were lucky last night that the Thunder went on a jag at the end of the game. The last 4 minutes of regulation and the overtime, they were 1 of 12.
That's what the Lakers did. Skip, you remember the Lakers in the fourth quarter? And that happened again on Friday night. They went 6 minutes without scoring a point. They went 4 or 5 minutes last night without scoring a point.
Where's the quote-unquote GOAT?
Right there where you chilling. Build
chilling like wine.
Skip, you know how you build that thing? You got to build it. You know, you hear that music in the movie, it's building. I got to build for that crescendo. I got to build for that denouement. I got to build for that zenith, that apex. It's coming. It's coming. Hold it, Jenny.
Hold it. And I got to miss the last second shot in both regulations so I can keep the audience on the edge of their seat for 2 overtimes.
Hold on. Didn't the Nets miss? Kyrie missed the jumper. The ball come right back to KD. And what happens, Skip? Back iron. Boom.
Nobody talks about them being the GOAT.
Right, they shouldn't. That's why. You ever notice that, Skip? Nobody has ever said anybody but GOAT James when GOAT to Michael Jordan. They don't say that by Kawhi.
I think you're the only somebody who says that.
Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that. Now you should be happy. You won this. Tom Brady got number 7.
Yeah.
But you see, I come out here yesterday, give Tom Brady his credit. You refuse to give my guy GOAT.
If he just made a walk-off, I'd say, way to go, GOAT.
He's made 7 of them.
Yeah.
LeBron, Ramon, James.
7, 18 years.
Yeah, come on, Skip.
Come on.
You've had your time with Tom.
Yeah, I'll give you your time.
Give LeBron some love. Like
There's one guy on bet, Skip. In NBA game, there's one guy on bet against.
There's one guy I bet against.
LeBron, Ramon, James Sr. I ain't betting against him.
No mercy.
So get this. The Cowboys released a hype video on social media looking ahead to the 2021 season. It was quickly pointed out that Dak Prescott, who has yet to sign a long-term deal, was not included at any point during the 32-second clip. Social media also went into a frenzy when Dak followed, then unfollowed the Washington football team on Instagram. Who notices this stuff? Shannon, are these big deals or not big deals?
You starting it off early, 2021. You know, 2021 starting off like 2020 for you, Skip Bayless.
Yeah.
Skip, Cowboys, you need to be ashamed of yourself. Skip, let me ask you a question. How you going to do an undisputed promo, just Skip, no Shannon?
Look at that. Did we try that?
Hey, Skip, that was just a little oversight.
Yeah, it's oversight. Yeah.
Skip, you know how much time teams put into videos like this. This is not something that you just willy-nilly throw up.
Nope.
A lot of... Skip, the quarterback, okay, if it's an offensive lineman, so be it. How the Rams gonna release a hype video with no Aaron Donald, no Jalen Ramsey? Huh? You take any team, the quarterback's gonna be in it, Skip. Just by the nature of the position, he ain't even gotta be good. He gonna be in a hype video.
Yep.
If you talking about for the 2021 season, he gonna be back. Now he ain't gonna be back. He probably gonna be in it.
Yep.
Cowboys, you'd just come out better, not even releasing the video, or just putting Dak in the video, and if he doesn't sign, just take him out of it. Nobody's buying this, Skip. This is not just an oversight. You don't oversight your quarterback. You don't oversight arguably your best player on the team when you're releasing a hype video to try because obviously this is for the season ticket holders and things of that nature, want people to buy a package of your tickets. That's not how it happens, Skip Bayless. Boy, y'all in for trouble. You know what, Skip, you know what? I want to gloat, but I can't because I know as happy as you are about winning Super Bowl, you know where this is headed. Yep. You're headed down the same road in 2021. You were traveling down in 2020.
Yep. Back to Jenny's question. This is a huge deal. It's a big, bad, ugly mess of a deal. That's what it is. It's bad blood now on both sides. It's what I've thought for about a year now.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to have a sad end to it.
It is.
A sorry end to it. Because, to your point, a hype video, it even had a quick shot of some like third-string fullback I'd never heard of working out. What? And then one of the executives tweeted, "It was just an oversight, trust me." Now, I don't trust you.
No,
sorry.
I don't. Sorry.
Maybe if Jerry had, on his radio gig, had said, "Look, we just screwed up," maybe I'd almost believe that, but just almost. And now let's look at the other side of this. Dak Prescott, for a fact, followed and unfollowed your historical arch rival within the NFC East, the Washington now football team, who used to be that nickname that I grew up with.
Right.
And it was the game twice a year, every year.
Right.
The game.
Mm-hmm.
It was the one everybody circled twice on the schedule, home and away. Well, you don't do that unless you're trying to send a message to Jerry Jones. Well, you dare me, maybe I'll go there. They need a quarterback.
Right.
Okay?
He already went with your rival. You would Corey, he would Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah, and what really just burns me about this is, you know that Jerry feels empowered now because of what just happened to Jared Goff and what is happening to Carson Wentz.
Correct.
Because one just got traded and the other one, it sounds like, is imminent to be traded. He is on the block, on the edge of the block. He's about to fall off the trade block into another team's locker room.
Yes.
And it's pretty shocking on both counts because those two teams did give in and give those guys money quickly.
Right.
When their windows opened, they both got their money.
Right.
So both teams are facing huge amounts of dead cap money. Mm-hmm. And yet both blew up in their faces for different reasons. We arms folded right now saying, "I told you so." You can't overreact to these things. And what have I said about Dak Prescott from the start? I am his biggest fan, but I will tell you this. I am a bigger fan of the Dallas Cowboys than I am of Dak Prescott. So I want the right thing to happen in the right way for the right amount of money. And I keep telling you, it's what have you done for me kind of lately, because over his last 17 starts, Dak Prescott is 6-11. That's not all his fault. That has something to do with the bad defense and beat up offensive line. But still, 6-11, and we've been through it. You, down the stretch last year in the last 13 games, you gave him 7 Fs for his performance. Okay, I got it. Jerry got it. But remember, it got reported by Charles Robinson of Yahoo that after the first 3 games, remember, Jerry said publicly after the opening game, we're going back a year ago, we are imminent to have a deal done. Well, that means they agreed verbally on the money. They got to cross the T's and dot the I's. And then, again, to Charles Robinson, he said after those first 3, and you said there was garbage opponents, and they were bad teams, Dak put up huge numbers, and yet the number that he was asking for suddenly got huger. And once you do that to Jerry Jones, jerk that rug out from under him in any kind of a negotiation, you got problems because he doesn't get mad. He's going to get even.
Well, Skip, Dak is in a great position because he knows there are a lot of teams out there that's looking for a quarterback.
I'm sure
he
there
says,
are.
"Okay, Jerry can just solve this problem. He can just let him walk and go into the market and get you another quarterback. Let that one walk, give up first-round draft picks, go get you a quarterback, and let somebody else pay him."
Well, I'm starting to think maybe he's on the trading block and we don't know it yet.
He can't. He's a free agent. You can't trade him.
Well, can you do it before the
He has to
tag?
sign. He would have to sign the franchise tag.
He would have to sign the tag. Okay, so the window opens on, let me get this right.
Third day of the new year?
Okay, it's February 23rd, and then you have until March the 9th to re-tag him, which would be the $38 million tag. But to your point, he would have to accept the tag.
Right.
Okay. Well, maybe if there was some deal worked out, maybe that he knew about, maybe he would accept it. Okay, I'm going to go there for this.
Right.
But obviously, I don't
do it. You know why? He said, why would I accept the trade to help y'all so y'all can get draft picks? No,
maybe not.
Just release me. Because clearly you don't think I can play. So how about
obviously
this?
It's impossible to release Dak Prescott because your option is Andy Dalton?
Why do you care? He can't play. You don't believe in him, so it does not matter whether you have a replacement. You don't believe in him. Skip, don't worry about what I do if I'm going to go find somebody else. You don't want me, so why do you care if I find somebody else?
No, they want him, but not at Mahomes or Deshaun money.
Skip, I told you. He was not the days of the $40 million. It's 40 now. It's 40.
Okay. Does he deserve $40 million? Is he worth $40 million? You would say a big fat no.
A big fat yes.
Yeah. Well, you would
because
say you want my cap wrecked.
No, Skip. Here's the thing, Skip.
You want to happen to me what happened to the Eagles and the Rams.
You had an opportunity, Skip. You cannot. Skip? You got to realize Dak was a third round pick? Fourth round pick. He didn't get the $30+ million guaranteed at Goff. He didn't get the $28 million guaranteed at Carson Wentz.
No.
And
they were top. That's first pick in the draft. The second pick.
First pick. So Skip, here's the thing: they had 2 years left on their deal.
That's what I said. As soon as the window opened, their team said yes.
And Jerry said, "Dak, I'm gonna have you play this thing out.
Yep.
Now you make me play it out. Now you want me to give you a discount, huh?" Under what pretense do you think that's acceptable for me?
I believe Jerry offered him what he thought he was worth. And again, there is the hometown, home team, America's team discount because Dak has a bunch of national TV commercials, including the one for, Sleep Number that's like every other commercial.
Yeah, I like that. I need to get me one of them. Skip, hold on.
I got me one of them.
What Jerry think is fair and what Dak think is fair because I'm providing the service. See, my what I'm worth is not based on what you can pay. So look at this is my Savannah State little man. I might think this thing worth $500,000-$600,000. Somebody say, man, that ain't nothing but old $20 mask. Well, to you, Dak said
$20 mask.
Yeah, that would they might say.
Like a $4 mask.
No, don't do that, Skip. Don't try to sell my school short. But anyway, Skip, Jerry Jones, Skip, you can't say. After they've given these other guys big long-term deal, oh, we want you to give us a discount. I would have given you a discount, Skip, had you come to me earlier.
Okay, but here's the downside to everything you're suggesting. What if they give him $40+ million for what's he want? 4 years.
4 years.
He wants 4 versus 5.
4 years, 160.
Okay, so what if that's a done deal?
Okay.
And then we go into next year, and all of a sudden, Dak keeps playing like he did 2 years ago, and Shannon keeps coming in here every Monday saying, F.
What if he, hold on.
And Jerry's up there, and I'm sitting here saying, he can't live up to 40 million.
What if he does what Jerry Goff did in 2018, take your team to the Super Bowl? What if he does what Wentz was doing, taking your team to the Super Bowl? Will it be worth it? You said if Jerry got to the Super Bowl, you said it'd be worth it.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
You're going to guarantee that?
Hey, you got main man Mike McCarthy. He should guarantee that.
Never liked Dak Prescott.
I do like Dak.
No, you do not.
I do like Dak.
You've been down on him for 4 years.
No. I've not been down on him.
He's dinking Dak.
He was. Yep. But I'm just not going to let you hype him up and put him in Mahomes and Deshaun and all those other categories.
That's the point. Yeah. And I agree. I still love him. I hate that this is happening, and I think the bad blood is on both sides because they're both taking pot shots at each other.
But, Skip, here's the thing. You can't ask a guy to play his contract to the complete end and expect him to give you a discount that the other guys gave their team with 2 years remaining on their deal. They gave them long-term security when they didn't have to. Now you not giving me long-term security. You try to make me base the side of 1 year. No. Okay. You don't get the terms you want and the money you want.
You got me one way, and that is Jerry didn't head this off at the pass a year earlier.
Thank you.
Where he would say, hey, whatever that deal on the table was that you said was fair.
Yes, a year earlier is done deal.
36,
yes,
whatever
it's a done deal, Skip.
Yeah, okay. Then we wouldn't be having this conversation.
No, we would not have.
And he might still be thinking, gee, I'm underpaid considering what the market exploded into.
Oh, too bad. You decided now. I got you now.
But still, I don't know how much he makes off the field, but he's got a bunch of commercials. I think by last count, last year he had a dozen national commercials.
Here's what, Skip. I don't worry about what all your endorsements. I don't worry about what Pepsi and what Coors Light and all AT&T and all this. Why you count my pockets?
Okay.
Why you pocket watching over there?
But if you're Buffalo's quarterback, are you going to get those deals?
How much you think Josh Allen's about to get?
I don't know. You're going to get national TV commercials? I don't see one.
How much you want to bet Josh Allen get 40+?
Okay, well, that's fine. But you're just talking about salary. I'm talking about national TV endorsement commercials. Oh, okay. Well, but you do.
I got to supplement my income, Skip.
Yeah, he won't undo his.
I don't blame me.
Yeah.
Why would I do that? bad.
You're just rooting against my salary cap to be wrecked by all this. And it's heading toward disaster because it's either going to be wrecked by Dak Prescott or not going to have a quarterback.
I feel very comfortable. As long as Jones is in charge of the Cowboys, I feel very comfortable sitting over here that you're not going to go very far.
Well, that's going to happen the rest of our lives, however long they are.
Well, I feel very comfortable.
Yeah.
So,
because if it's not Steven, it's going to be Jerry Jr. If it's not Jerry Jr., it's going to be Charlotte. Yep.
And then maybe the grandkids.
The grandkids. The kid who was the star quarterback at Highland Park High School. He's at Arkansas now.
Right. So
Steven's son.
But Skip, this is a huge deal.
It's a huge deal.
You got a hype video and the quarterback ain't in it.
God, this is getting petty.
Noticed that video and thought, what am I missing here?
Yeah,
I would take offense to that. Jeez.
Yes.
And if you guys do commercials without me anymore, I will continue to be upset about that. So, just so you guys know,
exactly.
No mercy.
Tampa Bay versus Kansas City. Gronkowski, he's going to score a touchdown. Holy guacamole. Rob Gronkowski's got 2 today. Is it a touchdown? Yes. Antonio Brown. Leonard Fournette takes it to the house. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Bucs win. Bucs win the Super Bowl.
Wow, love watching it back every single time. Well, Tom Brady not only continues to write the record books with his 7th ring, but also the path that got him to New Orleans and Green Bay before reaching the big game. And including the Super Bowl, Brady defeated Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, and Patrick Mahomes, all former Super Bowl MVPs. So, Shannon, when you look at it that way, was this Brady's toughest road to a ring?
I don't believe so, Skip. I believe this probably was his easiest path for the simple fact, Skip. He brought it. I believe, and maybe Pro Football Focus, since they always want to analyze something, go back and look at it. I believe this is his most talented team Tom Brady's ever played on. Player for player, Skip, top to bottom. Offense, defense, offensive line, linebackers, DBs. I believe this is the most talented team Tom Brady's been on. And so, therefore, it's not the most difficult. Now, had he taken, say, the 2018 team, Skip, through this path, okay, no question. But, Skip, when you look at the talent level, and that's why I'm like a 3-point favorite. I mean, when you look at it player for player, I believe the Bucs are more talented. Yeah, I get it. He went through Brees, Rodgers, Mahomes, but Skip, he brought a heavyweight, the contenders with him. I mean, he had a team with him, and I believe this is his most talented football team that Tom Brady's been associated with. So for me, no. I still believe because of what he did in 2001, Skip, because it was only his first year starting. He started, week 3? Started week 3 because I think Bledsoe got hurt week 2 or week 3.
0-2, yep.
So he started week 3. Considering it was his first start and doing what he did and getting that because he beat the Raiders at home. Then he goes on the road and beat a 13-3 Steelers team
Although he made it about half of that game because Bledsoe had to finish.
Right. And then doing what he did in that game, because this is not the Tom Brady that we see now, Skip. It was not even close to that. And I don't think anybody thought in that game, watching that game, that he was going to turn out to be what he became.
Nope.
So for me, Skip, I'm going to say no for the simple fact of what he brought along with him. The arsenal that he has at his disposal now is greater than he's had at any point in time, if you look at it offensively and defensively.
As usual, we see Tom Brady from a completely, utterly different perspective. I'm going to make the case this was the greatest run to a championship in sports history, given the degree of difficulty of taking over a team that went 7-9 a year ago. I give you the talent, but let's take apart the talent and see what happened this year.
Okay.
43 years old, 7-9 team, an organization known as the Succaneers because they had the worst winning percentage historically in all sports.
Right.
There's a pandemic. There's very little off-season, mostly virtual, mostly throwing to people in parks until the quarantine got you and the park ranger said you can't do that in this park anymore. 0 preseason games. A schedule that threw you into the fire against your arch rival, a team that became your nemesis in New Orleans, in game 1 at New Orleans. That was unfair and a predictable outcome. That team beat you on a Sunday night midseason when you were 6-2, it beat you 38-3 on that same turf that we watched the Super Bowl on. 38-3, and just went up and down the field on that loaded defense. They should have scored their first 6 times, but to your point, Jared Cook fumbled at the 2-yard line as they were going in for a touchdown that would have made it 6 possessions and 6 scores. And then, obviously, on that same field, Patrick Mahomes threw for 359 yards in the first half, 203 to Tyreek in the first quarter, 203 receiving yards by one receiver in the first quarter. Well, it was just wrong. And I didn't think that defense was going to be talented enough to rise back up to a level to carry them through the playoffs.
No, you didn't think they would be able to play to their talent level.
Yes.
They were talented. They just weren't playing to that level.
Playing to that level. Although the secondary was just so young because you're 22 and 23 at safety.
24-year-olds.
And 2 24-year-olds on the corners. And I think Pro Bowl player, unless Antoine Winfield rises into Pro Bowl status, he might.
They'll start getting some, concerning what they did in the Super Bowl, they'll start getting more looks now.
Okay. And yet, will they have? I think they need to go out and sign one of these Patrick Petersons or Richard Shermans or somebody to give them some veteran depth and savvy at corner that they can utilize. Okay. So they go against Taylor Heineke in game number 1 on the road at Washington. And as you know, he just goes up and down the field on this same defense that's loaded. And it scared me because Brady had a huge game against the then number 2 ranked on just yards allowed, number 2 ranked Washington defense that you said had one, at least a top 5 pass rush that you thought would cause him some problems, and it did not. His offensive line had gelled and risen up to a level that it could compete and at least have a standoff against that pass rush and give him enough time to torch their secondary, which was torchable. Okay, so that's the number 2 defense. Then they go to New Orleans against the team that had beaten them 38-3, and this is Drew Brees. It could be a swan song, but he has had Tom Brady's number, obviously, in many games. For the most part, he had won most of their matchups. And you do a number on them, and that was the defense. That was the first game the defense rose and shone, and you said, aha, that could work. And they forced 4 turnovers from Drew Brees, and yet that's the number 4 defense that Tom Brady is having to score against, and he scored. He closed the deal. He cashed.
I mean, but think about where he's getting the ball at.
Okay, but he cashed.
Yes.
He cashed when he had to cash. And then at Aaron Rodgers, at Lambeau, frozen tundra, that's the number 9 ranked defense. So that's 2 top 5 defenses and a top 10 defense that you have to face on the road against Aaron Rodgers, who talked the whole week about how he's in the biggest comfort zone he's ever been in. He feels healthier than he's ever felt, and he got his dream come true. Finally, a home field NFC championship game, and you know the rest of the story. Brady was magnificent in the first half, struggled a little bit in the third quarter because they lost both their safeties, and I thought Aaron Rodgers would just have his way.
Let me ask you a question, Skip. How does losing a safety affect Brady's play?
Okay, because he knows he's going to have to win a shootout in the second half because he thought Aaron Rodgers would be able to throw a big old party on his defense.
He wouldn't.
You lost Antoine Winfield, and then you lost Whitehead early in the third. So for the whole second half, you're playing without your 2 starting safeties against Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau.
Yeah.
Should have been his game, and you know what happened. Aaron had a bad fourth quarter, and they lived to tell.
Skip, you keep saying the secondary is the worst team, but Skip, what were the Patriots before Brady? They were terrible franchise.
Well, but they had been to the to 2 Super Bowls before.
Tampa Bay had won a Super Bowl. Tampa Bay had gone to NFC Championship game. Yes, okay. Look at what was Golden State Warrior before Steph. We're not talking about the 1960s when they had Wilt, and when they go back to the 70s and they won with Al Adams and Rick Barry.
Okay.
So they were terrible. There was a 20-plus year stretch where they were terrible, but they got a level of talent. See, you can't just keep saying, well, they had a history. Look at the Golden State Warriors are not the same Warriors because they got Steph, Clay, and Draymond, even though Clay is hurt. Once you get a level of talent, you looking at them and the totality says, well, they've been historically bad. Look at the level of talent. We're going to be interested to see how many Buccaneers, I don't know, maybe they do it during the season, but how many Buccaneers make the top 100?
Okay.
That's going to be very interesting to see.
Top 100
NFL players.
Off this team?
Yes.
Going into next year?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Guess how many Pro Bowlers they had? They had one as a backup. They had JPP as a backup. Nobody made it. Brady didn't make it. Neither the wideouts who were Pro Bowlers.
Well, I'm disappointed that Devin White didn't make it. I thought Devin White was a lock, but he's gonna probably be a lock moving forward.
Okay, so they win against Aaron Rodgers because they had beaten him down so badly in the regular season. I think it gave them enough faith they could go in there and compete with him, and they did.
Right.
And then they go up against the baby goat, Patrick Mahomes, and a defense and a coordinator that has had Brady's number, certainly in the Eli Super Bowl, the first one.
Right.
Okay, so to overcome the number 2, 4, and 9th ranked defenses and go Breeze, Rodgers, and Patrick Mahomes is outrageously great, especially when you're 43 with the team that went 7-9 a year ago. In your first go around with that team, you transform it into a Super Bowl champ.
But
it's impossibly great.
I give you a prime example. It's like Trent. Trent got to the Ravens. They were 8-8. They had the defense was intact. It was just getting the defense to play to the level consistently, game in and game out. Ray Lewis was there. Rod Woodson was there.
Okay.
Sarah Goose, all those guys were there. Now, okay, let's get a quarterback that understands that if he doesn't turn the ball over, you get a guy that can make a play here or there. They brought me on as a free agent. They drafted Jamal in the first. Well, I think Jamal was 5th. We run the football. We play for the big play, but we turn it over to our defense. What Tom says, well, man, if I can get to 14, they're not going to let you get in the end zone. So that's what they do in the red zone. They slam the door in Green Bay. The Green Bay, we're not letting you in the end zone.
Okay.
What they do to Pat Mahomes? We let you get down here, but you're not getting up on the end zone.
Okay, but Tom Brady went 11-5 this year, good enough for a wild card.
Yes.
And many times that was in spite of the defense. It wasn't great all year long. There were many games when he just took the game over, like against the Chargers at home in an early game. They fell behind 24-7, and Herbert's just throwing rockets.
But what happened right before the half? The defense get a strip sack.
They did.
They force a fumble. Tom gets a touchdown. They come out the gate, boom, boom, and they win the ball game.
What happened in the second half? He threw for 250 yards.
Yes.
And here they came. Okay, so he was the biggest reason they got to 11-5, not the defense.
But Skip, I think the thing is that what we're overlooking is that the role that the defense played when they played these historical name quarterbacks, they were outstanding against Drew Brees. Now, Drew Brees wasn't what we'd like to see Drew play a little better, but he wasn't the same Drew Brees that we knew and loved. Aaron Rodgers was at Aaron Rodgers' best, but once he lost those tackles, Skip, and he caught a break. Both teams without tackles.
One tackle
Well, he did, Skip, because now you got to take the right tackle, put him at left. So now you got to upset your whole offensive line. Now, Mahomes didn't really have a chance, but that's no excuse. Hey, you play who you play when you play them. But I just think, where do you rank this talent for the Bucs versus all the other talent from the Patriots team? You think it's up there?
Yeah, it wasn't seasoned talent, but on just raw talent?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll give you. It was. It's probably the most talented team he's played on that hadn't proven itself and didn't have any idea, according to Bruce Arians, how to win football games a year ago.
Right. And Gronk said these guys were ready to win. You mentioned B.A. B.A. said we were talented enough to win. We were wanted to win. We needed somebody to come in and show us how to win. That's all Tom needed to do. Give them the confidence. Hey, I'm here. Hell of it. Hold on. They look over that, Skip. He came to join us. He must be think we're pretty good because he ain't just going to go anywhere.
That's a fact.
So now, Skip, now all of a sudden my mindset changed. Man, that joker came here. We must be special. You know, good-looking girl start looking at your boy Shay. She must be thinking I look pretty good. Oh, okay. Let me perk up. Let me put my best on. And that's what you get. You get Devin White, you get Levante David, you get these guys playing like they're capable of playing game in and game out. You get JPP. JPP look better now than he did with the Giants, Skip.
But that wasn't all year. It wasn't really until the game at New Orleans in the playoffs that they started to explode into on
They showed you flashes against Green Bay. They showed you what they could be. So now, how do we get that to be consistent? And that's what I'm sure, Skip, when they started these playoff run, I'm sure Todd Bowles totally showed his defense. This is what we can be. This is how we should play. This is the mentality we need to have. You see how we getting after Aaron Rodgers? You see how we flying around to the football guys? This is how we go win a championship.
Okay, Pro Football Focus ranked Brady number 2 in grade in the regular season and number 1 in grade through the postseason.
Well,
Don't underestimate that.
I mean, he won Super Bowl, so.
43 years
It just
old.
made it look easy, and that's what I keep going back to. No preseason, crazy season. Tom made it look easy.
No mercy.
For the second straight game, the Lakers took at least one overtime to close out their opponent. LeBron was able to finish with a triple-double, but has seen his minutes rising as of late. LeBron has played 38 or more minutes in 6 of his last 8 games and is currently 5th in the NBA in minutes played this season. So, Shannon, how concerned are you about this?
Skip, I would like to see him take some time off. They play OKC again Wednesday. I'd probably like to see him take that game off, but I don't think. I'm not holding my breath, say, oh, man, LeBron's not going to be in the lineup. I just don't see it happening, Skip. And especially with AD was out, Caruso was out. You knew LeBron wasn't going to be out, said also. And like I said, Skip, Kuzma says they don't practice. So basically the game, they're using the game as their practice time, Skip. And to try to, like, when you build in Marc Gasol and you try to learn Wesley Matthews and Schroeder, you're trying to find a rhythm actually in the game as opposed to, because everything was so condensed. You went from winning a championship and then 71 days later, you're starting the season. So you didn't get an opportunity to build a regular offseason to get to know these guys and get the continuity that you would need. Skip, I would really like to see LeBron say, you know what? I done played 20, what are they, either 19 and 6? You know, I played 25 straight. Hey, Coach Vogue, give me the night off. I don't see that happening, Skip. I don't see it happening. He feels well. I would like to see them get a big lead, Skip, and hold it, and LeBron play like 28 minutes. But I'm not concerned. LeBron says he feels good. I saw him, he's hyped, working out yesterday before the game. You saw him in the workout room, Skip, getting hyped. You're right, we good. Don't you worry about it. You don't roll your eyes. You're going to roll your eyes right to an MVP and a finals MVP. 5. 5.
Don't tell me, show me. Shannon.
Yes.
Your man, LeBron James, is on a dangerous pace right now in this shortened, escalated NBA season, in which games seem to come every night, every other night. Just game. He said on the shop ahead of the season, I will cherry pick games in the first month or 2 of the season, meaning I will pick a lot of games to take off. I will cherry pick that game, because you can't do this to me because we had the shortest offseason in the history of the National Basketball Association, which is true. Shannon, has he missed a single game yet?
No. 25 up, 25 down.
Would you believe that your man, LeBron James, is now 5th in the NBA in minutes played? He's 5th.
That's because he's played every single game, Skip. There's a lot of guys.
I'm not talking about average minutes. I'm talking about total minutes played. He is 5th. And number 1 is Julius Randle. And number 2 is R.J. Barrett. Number 3 is Fred VanVleet. Number 4 is Sabonis. Number 5, at age 36 in his 18th season, is LeBron James. What's his middle name? Ramon, right?
Ramon.
Okay, Ramon James. I gotta get that right. Senior. As number 5, he's in his 18th year. If I add up all the years these 4 kids above him have played,
they had 18.
It's 19. so it's 19 for all of them all told, to 18 pace. I believe this. I've told you this. I first guessed this. He's not going to miss games because he can't. As long as he feels great, I'm sure he feels healthy, as you said. God bless. I'm going to knock on wood.
Yeah, I
for
mean,
him.
he's just 25, 7, and 8.
All right. Okay. His only hope of making a GOAT case is to pile up longevity stats. It's crucial to him, especially. There's one. It's the golden whatever chalice out there, right? It's the
38
the
plus
be
1,000
all
points.
and the end all. It's Kareem's all-time points scored.
Right.
And how close is he? He's
3,500.
Yeah, he's 3,508 points short of Kareem. He can do it, but he needs to keep on keeping on. So he has a huge built-in advantage to me in this short and escalated season because a lot of players are saying, God, another game? And it's hard for them to get mentally up night after night.
Right.
LeBron has this built-in advantage. He's chasing Kareem. So he's actually going to get even more up for playing the Pistons or the Thunder, because those are golden opportunities for him to say, I can get mine tonight because they're not very good. They can't guard me. Lou Dort can't guard me.
Well, nobody can really guard him.
Okay, well, that's fine. But again, the big games take care of themselves. But he's hyped to play Detroit or Oklahoma City.
But Skip, see, the thing that people praised Jordan for, that he could find meaning to get out there on a Monday night or Wednesday night to play Charlotte or to play a team that didn't have superstars. The thing that you praised Jordan for, you criticize LeBron for.
Well, I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying it's a built-in advantage because he's got a goal, golden goal out there.
Why did Jordan get up to play these games on a Monday and a Wednesday on a meaningless game?
Because he was a crazed competitor.
Okay, so he just
wanted to annihilate anybody who dared to step on the court.
Hold on. Didn't Ty Lue tell you LeBron James and Michael Jordan are more alike than not? He told
I don't
you
know
that.
If he said that. He said they're a lot alike.
A lot alike.
Yeah.
A lot alike. Mm-hmm. You see what you just did? Now, Jordan, he just wanted to annihilate. LeBron James, he just want numbers. You see?
Ty Lue is the head coach of the team in the basement.
What they got to do with us?
Be very careful about what he says.
He ain't got to be careful with nothing.
Yes,
he don't coach LeBron.
Yeah. Well, he did coach him.
Why I got to be careful? Because I feel I got a team that can take care of anything. So you say what you want to say.
Well, that team did not take care of anything last year in the bubble except themselves.
Skip, I just think the thing is they don't spend any time on the court in practice. All the coaches that they get is in the film room, and they're trying to figure it out during the course of the game. Yes, okay. Skip, I would love to see him take off tomorrow night.
Aren't you just a little nervous about this? You're daring that pull going again. You're daring it. I'm knocking on wood for him because I don't even like to bring it up, but it's just too much. It's too many minutes.
Hey, he say he like a truck on Red Bull.
Okay.
He all night. It gives you wings.
He just played.
Yeah. You see how he fly through the air? I can't believe he in year 18. The dunks that he's be doing.
He needed wings in that jump ball with Baisley because he lost it badly.
So the man gets a triple-double. Mm-hmm. He scores 7 points in the fourth quarter. He does what he does in overtime. And the one flaw you can find where he didn't win the jump ball.
Well, it was a huge one because it would have ended the game if you win it. But instead, Shai Gilgeous went the other way and got fouled by KCP and shot 3 free throws and tied the game.
Okay. Yeah, all right. I could have done without the extra 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. Okay, I could have done without the extra 10 minutes.
Just for the record, so people don't lose sight of this, he just played 46 minutes against Detroit and 43 minutes against Oklahoma City, albeit 2 overtimes and 1 overtime.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
And you can tell me it's all about seeding. And you're right. There's something going on where he just wants to win basketball games.
Well, you're half game behind Utah. You're 2 games ahead of the Clippers. And so, like I said, they didn't get out to the start. They lost some games. They lost what? They lost about 1 to Philly on the road, had a nice going, and then they get blown out by Detroit. But their home record, Skip, remember last year they started at home. After they lost opening night to the Clippers, they had a hot streak at home. Mm-hmm. And they were 20-3 at this point in time last year. So they're a little behind the 8 ball. But what I can't understand, the things that we commended Jordan, the things that we commended Kobe for, playing meaningless ball games on a Monday night that has nothing to do with nothing. They were fierce competitors.
Yep.
LeBron does the exact same thing. Oh, he just tried to pass that. He just tried to catch Kareem. He don't care about it. Really?
Well, a 10-13 Oklahoma City team took them right to the wire.
Skip, do you remember that in that 72?
Jordan would have won that game by 40.
Actually, he didn't. They lost that 72-10 team. They lost to the worst team in the NBA. They lost to Charlotte. You remember that, Skip Bayless?
No, I don't.
I do, but I do.
What Mike had that
I do.
night?
It doesn't matter.
Did he have 50?
Doesn't matter. He lost. Don't matter. You see what you try to do, my man? You try to do everything you can. Now, see, I come out here, I give your guy credit. Your guy played, he did what he did. Yeah. I don't try to find no way around this, Skip.
It's too many minutes. Too soon.
We'll play as many we need.
You got to ration it out.
Endless supply.
You got to give up the Kareem chase.
No, Skip, baby. Hey, if the man, Skip, we can feed 5,000 with a loaf of bread.
Okay.
And a couple of fish, Jenny. That's what my man can do.
So now he's the Messiah.
I didn't say that, Skip. I'm just saying what we're capable of doing.
You hear something new every single day.
No mercy.
Black History Month is a perfect time to reflect on all of our Black heroes. I wanted to talk about a personal hero of mine, Florence Griffith Joyner. She's a huge inspiration to me and was my woman of all time. She still holds the world record she set in the 1988 Olympics for both the 100-meter and 200-meter. Not only was she a dominant athlete, she was a fashion icon and designer. She embodied strength, passion, and style in a fearless and unapologetic way. Her power, beauty, and strength inspired me as a Black woman and an athlete. She was the fastest, the boldest, and is still the very best in history.
Tom Brady won his 7th Super Bowl in his first season with the Buccaneers on Sunday. Well, Tampa controlled most of the game and never gave up the lead after going up 7-3. Brady finished with 3 touchdowns and just over 200 passing yards in the win and his 5th Super Bowl MVP. Former All-Pro cornerback Antonio Cromartie is joining us now. Crow, it's been fun to chat with you about Brady all season, but what did he prove exactly from that performance about his capabilities this season?
That he the GOAT. Hands down, he's the GOAT. I just think from the performance that he put on, not just in the Super Bowl, just throughout the season. I mean, he threw for 4,600 yards, 40 touchdowns, only threw 12 interceptions at the age 43. And it just shows you the work and the effort and what kind of competitor he is throughout this whole entire season, especially in a season where he was picked up by Tampa Bay. You're going through a pandemic and where you don't have a true offseason. You don't have a true training camp. And you're able to go out here and take this team to the Super Bowl. Not only just take them, but win it. And also win the MVP for the year. I mean, it's the MVP of the Super Bowl. It just shows you what kind of guy he is and the time that he tries to put in to build what he was trying to build in Tampa. And I mean, I can't wait to see what he does at the age of 44.
They peaked at the right time. Skip and I don't think anybody can say, I think everybody will say this. He looked better at 40. What happens when you get a level of talent around you? They had people, I thought he was gone. I thought he was washed up. And then all of a sudden he gets Mike Evans, then he gets, gets Gronk back, he gets Chris Godwin, he gets an offensive line that can protect him, he plays behind a better defense. Because, Skip, I told you that defense, they give it up all out there. I don't know, Skip. I don't think that's a historic defense that he had in New England last year. But, Skip, he did a great job. The thing that you have to give Tom Brady the most credit for, he understands early in the game what type of game he needs to play in order for him to win, Crow. So he said, 100%. You know what? Our defense is playing so good. The only way the Chiefs are going to be able to beat us today is I turn the ball over. So he didn't even come close to putting the ball in harm's way.
Nope.
The one that got tipped, Skip, they got tipped, but that was it. Other than that, nobody else even had a chance to intercept the ball. Either his guys were catching it or it was hitting the turf. So he does a great job of understanding the type of game that he needs to play in order for them to win. And so for me, and they got better and better week after week. Bruce Arians mentioned about a phone call they had during the bye week. And I told you, Skip, they're throwing the ball down the field. But this is more Tom Brady's offense than it's ever been with the play action, the crossing routes. Ain't as much as, no risk it, no biscuit. But Tom Brady just shows you through training, through understanding. His knowledge of the game, Skip, is second to none. He doesn't take a back seat with that. But he's learned how to avoid the big hit that could end it for a player of his age on any given Sunday. He's learned how to avoid that. That's a learned behavior, Skip. He
learned that a long time ago.
But Skip, as you get older, you got to get better. You got to get better at it. They've done a great job. He's done a great job of that, Skip. But with the talent around him and the way they are, they need to keep a few of these key pieces. Now, a lot of these guys, Skip, Shaq Barrett, I don't know if he comes back. He's going to probably get $20 million. I don't know if he's coming back because Shaq, Skip, he was an undrafted free agent. Spent 6 years in Denver, made less than $5 million. Now, he did get the big payday last year with the franchise tag. But Shaq is one his bite of the apple. Levante David is 31. $12, $13 million or come back to Tampa for a chance to...
You will be rooting like mad for all of the above to exit stage left.
Skip, I always root for guys to get the money because guess what? They're going to come a time, Crow, you can't eat Super Bowl rings. You can't sleep on them. You're going to need money because that man going to say, oh, let me see Mr. Barrett. Let me see your Super Bowl ring. Your mortgage is due. So get that money, fellas.
Get out of town, fellas, says Shannon Sharpe.
No, if Tampa gonna give you $20 million, you better stay right there and take that $20 million from Tampa. No state tax and a chance to win.
I want to thank our man Antonio Cromartie for eating a little crow when it comes to Tom Brady because he has doubted Tom occasionally on this show, such as last week. And he just kept doing it and doing it and doing it. Not only to our man Crow, but to my man Shannon Sharpe, who lost 9 cases of Diet Mountain Dew thanks to Tom Brady's performance at Aaron Rodgers and against Patrick Mahomes.
In 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
I went from a plus to a negative. I was up cases and now I'm down.
So to me, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. proved that to him, 43 is the new 23 because to my eye test, I thought he looked better than ever this year. I thought he did run Bruce Arians' no risk it, no biscuit offense, certainly through the first 12 weeks of the year because he led the whole league in air distance, just distance he threw the football, and he led the league in the regular season in big-time completions, 20-plus yard completions. He completed 36 of those. So you got to give him doing what Bruce wanted him to do up to a point. Then I agree. Week 13, they had the latest bye week of any NFL team, and that's when they came to grips with who are we and where are we heading.
Yep.
And we got to add a little play action and some motion, some pre-snap motion to give me the ability to read a little bit better than I can read.
Quicker.
Yep. And they took off. And I believe Brady's leadership brought this team to a boil, right on schedule, December to remember, and then here they came. And he proved to me that he looks like he could play 3 more high-level seasons. I just believe that with all my heart and soul after what I just watched. And he proved that he's going to let Aaron Rodgers win as many regular season MVPs as he wants to, because Tom won the postseason MVP. I know he was Super Bowl MVP, but I think you can't argue he was the MVP of the whole 4-game run through the postseason. So in the end, to me, Brady showed you that he's better than ever at 43 as a leader, as a defensive reader, and as a big game poised performer. I just don't know if he's ever been better than this.
Not only that, Skip, but you got to think, Bruce Arians also said that he lets Tom Brady do a lot of coaching when he was inside of there. So he lets the guys, he knows exactly what he wants from the guys on the football field and where they need to be, so he can explain that to him. Bruce Arians let him have that freeway. But when you look at it, I mean, when you had Scotty Miller, you think about it, you even have OJ there this year because he got hurt. You know, now you had Gronk. You know, he has the weapons around him, something that he really didn't have in New England. And when you have that, it makes things a little easier because no one can double team anyone. You can't go out and go do this. Everyone has to have a one-on-one matchup. And it makes things a little clearer when you can add the motions. And now you can see the zone. You can see if they're in man. And now you can actually dictate where the ball is going. Because if you look at that one particular play he completed down the field to Antonio Brown, had one-on-one coverage, he was looking that way the whole time. He just needed Antonio Brown to get the separation. Yep. So he's just understanding what the defense is giving him, and he's taking it, and that's what he's excelled in since week 13. He went back to the New England way of picking and choosing his mismatches and getting the ball to the open guys.
I think another reason, Skip, and another reason that we saw Peyton Manning have success after he left Indy is that normally, Skip, what we're used to seeing is that as quarterbacks age, the talent around them aged. Mm-hmm. Peyton went to a young team, a talented team with young receivers. Brady goes to a team with young receivers as he's aging. Normally, Jerry and Joe were aging together. Joe went to a team, they didn't have young, talented receivers when he went to Kansas City. No. So you're right. He could play another 2-3 years if he could avoid a big injury or something like that. Because these guys, Mike Evans, I think all the top guys with the exception of Gronk, is under the age of 30. Yep. AB, I believe they're going to lose Chris Godwin because someone's going to throw a ton of money at him, somewhere between $16 and $18 million, and he's going to say bye-bye. Okay. But that's one of the reasons why you signed AB. Because you feel you can replace Chris Godwin's production with AB and not miss a beat.
All right. Here's the final thing Tom Brady proved this year. He exploded the NFL myth that dream teams don't work. Remember 2011 Eagles, the dream team, and it was a disaster. Remember the 2000 Washington team with Dion and Bruce Smith?
Bruce Smith, yeah.
Dream team fell apart, didn't work.
Right.
Remember, he went out and recruited, Brady did, Gronk and AB and Fournette, and for what it mattered, LaShawn McCoy.
Right.
But they threw them all together on the fly. Did it work? Well, the first three guys I named were the three offensive stars of the Super Bowl.
Well, you mentioned Philly, you mentioned other dream team. You forgot one thing, the most important position, Brady. Mm-hmm. You can have a dream team, you can have a nightmare team. Okay. But if you got that guy quarterback, everything's going to be, you're going to be able to sleep real good.
Especially when he's the guy who recruited your dream team.
Yes.
All right, Antonio, we appreciate you joining us. I like hearing you say that he is the GOAT.
No mercy.
The Buccaneers will have some work cut out for them in order to bring back most of their Super Bowl winning team when free agency begins. Bruce Arians is confident it will happen thanks to some players willing to take less. Arians said, quote, Mike Evans is the most unselfish superstar I've ever met. He's told us to use some of his money if we need to do contracts to keep the team together. So, Shannon, how many players do you believe will sacrifice in order to keep this team together?
I don't believe Shaq Barrett will, because somebody's going to throw $100 million at him, Skip, and you just can't give that kind of money up. Levante David is going to be 32. This is probably his last big payday. Chris Godwin is on a rookie deal, and somebody's going to throw $15, $17, $18 million at him. I don't see him doing it. Gronk has made it abundantly clear. He only wants to play football if he can play with Tom Brady. AB doesn't have any other options. It's either Tampa for that minimum with incentives, or it's nothing. So for me, the guys that I just mentioned, Skip, I just don't see Godwin, Shaq Barrett, and Levante David with the big paydays that are going to be coming their way. I just don't see them turning that down. Football is such a dangerous game, Skip. There's not, if I get hurt, baseball, Skip, they get $340 million. Gary Cole is getting $340 million. Mm-hmm. These guys got these 300, these 250. Mike Trout is going to get all $412 million.
Yep.
An NFL player is only going to get what he said, that signing bonus. Mm-hmm. So for me, I just don't see how you can turn that deal. I don't see these guys turning down that kind of money. It's not like Shaq Barrett has made a ton of money. It's not like Chris Godwin has made a ton of money. Levante David was a second-round draft pick, if I'm not mistaken, Skip, in 2012, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Probably made decent money. But this is a chance at a large payday, Skip. So I can see Gronk. I can see AB. But Gronk, like I said, Gronk is going to play for as long as he's playing with Tom. He's happy. AB doesn't have a whole lot of options, so he's straight. Leonard Fournette, is somebody going to throw a ton of money at Leonard Fournette? I don't believe so, so I believe he comes back. But the big guys that I mentioned, Levante David, Shaq Barrett, Chris Godwin, I believe they'll be playing elsewhere because of bigger paydays.
I'm going to borrow your line about Saban and Alabama. Brady's got a stanker going on down there in Tampa.
He got a stake right now.
He does. They have a potential dynasty to be built there, because I think they'll have a great shot at winning next year, and then we would see, because Brady's got ultimate goals. I'm sure he's thinking out to, we could be the first team to win 3 in a row. Yeah. I know it's a long shot, but trust me, he's thinking about it, because that's what he does. So to me, Tom Brady will end up taking less money. They'll restructure, redo, because he doesn't care that much about the money.
Right.
I believe that Mike Evans is as humble a superstar as you will ever meet, and I believe he will be willing to restructure and take less money. If it means being able to keep Chris Godwin, or one of the two, as you've pointed out, probably Shaq Barrett's a little more valuable than Chris Godwin is, because you only have one of him. Yeah. You got some other pretty good Chris Godwins. They're not quite Chris Godwin, but you got AB, you got Scotty Miller, you got Tyler Johnson, you got the kids coming up.
And plus, Skip, you can go in the draft. You can get a receiver in the second or third round.
And you got O.J. Howard coming back to join Cameron Brate and Gronk at tight end. So you got an abundance of targets that you'll be just fine. I would rather them keep Chris Godwin, because he's really good and he's really a good kid, too. This team has high character, and I believe Bruce Arians, when he said we developed a powerful bond, just that band of brothers kind of bond.
You do. I mean, you go through, it's different, Skip. When you go to, when you compete for championships, and you do it the way they did, because that's how we did. We had to go on the road. We had to go to Kansas City, go to Pittsburgh, beat Green Bay. You develop a bond that's unbreakable.
Okay.
That's something you always talk about.
All right, so don't underestimate this either. Tom Brady is becoming a free agent magnet because they're really good and they got a shot and it's fun. Bruce is fun to play for.
Oh,
Tom's fun to play with and for.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know any of those free agent corners on the market. I've mentioned Patrick Peterson, Richard Sherman.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's going to say, yeah, I want to go along with that ride down there because that's a fun ride and a good place to play. Weather's pretty good, obviously.
With comparable money, Skip, I mean, $1 million here or there, obviously you go there because, Texas, Florida with no state income tax.
Yep.
So you can make that up. And so but the kind of money Shaq Barrett is going to get thrown at him, the kind of money that Chris Godwin, I believe, Skip's going to get thrown at him, I just don't know if you turn down, $100 million to take $60 million.
Mm-hmm. Shaq is the key to me, or as Brady calls him, Sack Barrett. I hadn't heard that nickname.
Yeah.
So to me, they can all chip in a little bit to make it a lot to offer him to stay.
Skip, the thing was that the Broncos thought a lot of him. Is that they were going to trade him. Cleveland wanted him in a trade and a first-round pick for Joe Thomas, and the Broncos was unwilling to give him up. So they knew what they had. It's just that he got hurt and he wasn't able to showcase, and then they go get Bradley Chubb, top 5 pick, pair him with Von Miller, and then, he's the odd man out. But if you look at him when he would fill in for DeMarcus Ware and come in situations with Von, he's always been that, Skip.
Yep.
He just needed to be somewhere where he could play every down and showcase that.
Tom Brady, at age 44, will do everything in his power to maximize his ability or Jason Light's ability to surround him with the best possible talent.
I totally agree.
He will.
Totally agree.
So I look for them to wind up when the smoke clears going into next year to be even better than they were this year.
Just get some depth. Maybe add some depth at the linebacker position.
Yep.
Because they don't need a whole bunch, Skip. I mean, they're one of the few teams, and then, like you said, they don't have 10 guys that are free. They got a few key pieces. I mean, like you said, Shaq Barrett. I mean, you can get Shaq to come back, you be sitting real good. If Chris Godwin leave and you get Shaq back, because he's that linchpin piece to go with JPP.
He is that.
No mercy. New tracks, new teams, and a new champ. The 2021 NASCAR season starts in just 5 days with the Great American Race, the Daytona 500, Sunday only on Fox. It's racing season. Well, following his 7th Super Bowl victory, Tom Brady posted or reposted over 50 times to his Instagram story. Many of his original posts highlighted his teammates' efforts with clever captions and specifically paired songs. It even included a nod to Shannon's famous "Help is on the way" call. Shannon, please do that again for us? I love that. It's one of my favorite images of you. Can you please give Brady's Instagram story a letter grade?
I give it an A.
Do you really?
But Skip Bayless told me, I thought Tom Brady didn't pay attention. Skip Bayless had tried to tell me for the better part of 5 years, Tom Brady is nothing like you, Shannon. You're talking about how you would handle things. I say, Skip Bayless, I'm telling you how athletes handle things. No, not Tom Brady. Everything that I said, he put in there. So Tom Brady, so now, can you give me a little credit? Say, Shannon, you own to something. You were right. Just go ahead and say it.
Right about what?
When I tell you, I say, Skip, this is how Tom Brady feels about this. He won't say, the only difference between Tom Brady and Shannon Sharpe, 7 Super Bowls, him being a better player than me aside, is that I will tell you exactly. I don't give you cliches and golly gee whiz. You know exactly what Shannon Sharpe is thinking. You know exactly where Shannon Sharpe is standing. Tom Brady give you these cliches. Everything that was said, he put in this IG story because Tom Brady is more like most athletes than not.
Well, when has he ever said any of this? When has he ever fired back publicly at any of these issues?
Skip, that's my point. I'm saying just because he doesn't fire back.
He sees everything.
But that's what I've been trying to tell you. You just tell me that's me. That's how I would react.
I told you he is motivated by the slightest of slights, just the way Michael Jordan was. So I also give this an A because all of a sudden, the wolf inside took off some of his sheep's clothing, and he let fly in this. And it's a little bit between the lines.
No, it's not.
But by Brady's standards, by his non-committal, non-controversial, aw shucks, gee whiz, I'm going to duck and dodge every question. By those standards, this is laying it out on the line. because he just won his 7th Super Bowl, and he said, okay, watch this.
Right.
I'm assuming he's got a full-time social media person who did this for him.
Yeah.
But this was clever. It was funny. It was edgy. And it was actually, dare I say, transparent for Tom Brady, because you could see what he thinks about a lot of things. So I start off with the phrase playoff MF Lenny. Well, I love that because that's what he thinks of Leonard Fournette.
Right.
That when it's time to shine, that young man rose and shone.
Because we didn't see this Leonard Fournette very much in the regular season. We saw a different.
We did not.
Playoff Rondo versus regular season Rondo.
And I never saw, so to speak, playoff Lenny at LSU.
Right.
When they ran into that stanker in Tuscaloosa, he stank.
Think about how many times, Skip, he broke tackles and got touchdowns. He caught a touchdown. Was that against Green Bay? Or maybe New Orleans. He caught the touchdown against New Orleans.
He caught the low ball.
Right. So we saw aspects of Leonard Fournette's game that we hadn't seen since he was in the NFL.
Okay. I told you going into Sunday's game, I thought he would be the X factor, and man, did he not have impact on that game running?
He
and
ran
catching.
hard, yes.
And that one burst where he broke away, he can beast mode you, man, because he's, I don't know what he weighs, 240, 250?
245,
right?
He's solid.
Okay. So they stumbled onto something, and I'm sure Brady helped relight the fire under Leonard because he named him playoff
Lenny.
MF Lenny. Okay? I love that. And then I love the little shots at Mahomes between the lines of, ooh, that doesn't look comfortable. Why he's getting crushed by Sue and JPP.
Yeah.
Okay, that's funny to me because I'm sure it wasn't comfortable to get crushed, right?
No.
And Tom didn't get crushed one time in the game. He got sacked once.
Well, first of all, Tom Brady gonna already be on the ground. He ain't gonna be. He see a situation like that, Skip. You just got to touch him down because he ain't taking a shot.
I loved it. So he's taking a little bit of a shot at the quote-unquote baby goat, like, that's where you wound up, and I was standing up.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, and then my favorite of all was our man Devin White, breakout star of the postseason on defense. He is actually mocking Tyreek's borrowing of Shannon Sharpe's on the phone calling for help, right?
Yeah.
Call for help. And you did that back when? That was
in 96.
1996 against
the Patriots.
The Patriots.
Yes, in their stadium. Yep.
Here it is.
Help is on the way. Help is on the way, I promise you. They coming. Help is on the way. Help is on the way.
And what had you just done to the Patriots?
We beat the brakes off them. We beat them like 34-8, 34-9.
And I know you know your stats.
No, I didn't do. TD ran wild on them. They wanted to double me. They didn't want me to do anything because they didn't want me to talk. So TD had like probably $150 on them.
Okay, didn't you originally get
I picked up. Well, it started, Skip, because I was out of the game. So I was like halfway through the fourth quarter, maybe started the fourth quarter. I was out of the game. And you know how the Patriots fans are. Hey, Sharpe. Ben Coates was on the team. Was Ben there? I think Ben was there. Coates is better than you. Ben Coates is a good friend of mine. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I got something for y'all. And so I just picked the phone up. I hadn't had any idea that, NFL Films was rolling. I was just having fun with the fans in the stands. And the next thing I know, it goes everywhere. And so...
Weren't you calling the National Guard?
I called the National Guard. Yeah. We're in Boston, I just figured, it would be fitting. But, Skip, it just goes to show you, he keeps
and by the way, just for the perspective of this, Tyreek borrowed that at Tampa 10 weeks before the Super Bowl.
He did.
When he went off for 203 yards receiving in the first quarter on Carlton Davis.
He did.
And he mocked he borrowed it. He borrowed it.
He
paid homage to it.
What it shows you, Skip, is that he takes notes of everything that is said about him.
No.
Because, like I said, even if he doesn't hear it, he has people that hears it, clips, paste it. This is what such and such said. Okay, play it. This is what such and such wrote. Let me see it. Everything that you see, he didn't make that up. That was actually said. It was actually done.
Yep.
And so all he did, okay, at the end of the day, he who laughs last, laughed loudest.
That is correct.
Okay, guess what? All them no-look passes and all that bar in the phrases.
Didn't matter, right? Look who won.
Look at me.
That's what he was saying.
Look at me.
But it took winning your 7th ring, more than any franchise in the NFL.
You got to win, Skip, to have the last, and he won.
Okay. So the music, which we can't play on this show, on this air, was all throwbacks to sort of early 2000s rap and rock, but probably his faves.
But if you know, no, the last one, Skip, where he's standing, he used 50 Cent. Many men have wished death on me. He said many people want to see Tom Brady go away.
Well, one just spoke right there across from me.
I want to see him go away.
Yeah.
I don't want him to walk away.
I want somebody 4 years.
I want somebody to beat him and make him go away. Don't walk away. I don't want to see him walk away because he done won so much. I'm just tired. I'm just tired of beating everybody down. Somebody need to beat him and make him call it a night.
Well, the 50 Cent little shout out was maybe aimed at you.
I always know. No. Like I said, Skip, I want somebody to beat him.
You've wished many deaths.
I always know death.
Quote unquote, figurative deaths.
No.
Right? A couple. Maybe, let's see, we've been on for 5 years, 5 times.
Maybe I wish he had bad diarrhea in the traffic.
One of those.
Traffic light or something like that. That's about the extent of it.
I got it.
But Skip, you know what, Skip? I want somebody to beat Tom Brady. I don't want him to walk away. I don't like to see a guy just walk away because he's like, you know what, I've accomplished everything. No, you got to beat that man.
Yep.
Make him hang up the cleats.
Feel it.
You will get that opportunity.
Time. Because when he's playing like this and he's winning
don't walk
at this
away.
level, it's kind of hard to see him.
Y'all got to do a better job.
All right, Shannon, I hear that, and I just love that sound. Health is on the way. Tyreek is never going to top that, by the way. That is the best of the best.
No mercy.
Tony Dungy isn't as fast as the rest of us to crown Tom Brady as the greatest winner in the history of team sports. Dungy tweeted that the greatest winner of all time is Bill Russell and his 11 titles in 13 years. Celtics. This also comes after Dungy was on Shannon's podcast and left Brady out of his top 5 because he likes mobile quarterbacks. So, Shannon, please explain what Dungy has against Brady here.
I don't think he has anything, but, 11 is more than 7, and when you throw in 2 NCAA titles and Skip, he won a gold medal in 56 in the Melbourne Olympics, Bill Russell. Yeah. So, Skip, Bill Russell was an idol of Coach Dungy. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he knows Coach Mr. Russell very personally.
Does, yes.
But, Skip, 11 titles in 13 seasons with 2 NCAA titles. It's hard to say someone is a better. And it's all relative, Skip. It's all about eras. However you want to judge it. If you want to say Tom Brady is the greatest winner, fine. But you're going to get people pushed back that says Bill Russell because he has 11 titles in 13 seasons.
Okay, I get that. And I'm not going to argue 1 second about Mr. Russell because he is Mr. Russell.
Yeah.
But it still smacks of Tony has something a little bit personal against Tom where he pushes back. Every time he gets a chance, he pushes back. Tom was 8-3 against Coach Dungy.
Right.
2-1 in the postseason. That one was the AFC Championship game on the way to the Super Bowl when they came back from 21-3 down in the Indy and the Colts and Peyton did to win 38-34. So I don't know if I don't know. Does any of the competitive stick in his craw a little bit?
I don't think Coach Dungy being around him like as much as I have, it doesn't strike me as that. But I just sometimes we get caught up in the moment. We become prisoners of the moment because Tom Brady last 20 years.
Yeah.
But it's hard. I don't think anybody's going to do 11. You think somebody will win 11 championships?
No.
That is it for Undisputed, guys. Great stuff. We're back same time tomorrow morning. The Herd is on right now. Have a good day, guys.